Hi, I'm the new maid.
It's a lot of locks.
This building is a temple to Satan. Each month we must pay with a human sacrifice. You are the offering.
You little shit!
They Will Kill You arrives as a ferocious collision of horror, action, and wicked comedy, positioning itself as a film that is fully aware of its own madness and leans into it without restraint. Emerging from new Line Cinema and Nocturna, the project promises a blood-soaked cinematic experience that thrives on chaos, tension, and dark humor. At its core, the film is about survival under impossible circumstances, pushing its central character into a nightmarish gauntlet where every corridor, shadow, and ritual space becomes a potential execution ground. The tone is unapologetically bold, blending brutal violence with moments of twisted levity, creating a world where fear and laughter exist uncomfortably side by side. This is not a restrained horror film that relies on subtle dread alone, but rather a high-octane spectacle that embraces excess, style, and shock value as part of its identity. The story unfolds over the course of a single night inside a place known as the Virgil, a location that feels less like a building and more like a living, breathing trap designed for ritualistic slaughter. The Virgil serves as the lair of a demonic cult whose practices revolve around sacrifice, spectacle, and control. Within its walls, architecture becomes a weapon, and ritual becomes entertainment for those who believe they are serving something far beyond humanity. The film centers on a young woman who is dragged into this nightmare and forced to confront not only the cult members hunting her, but also the terrifying logic of their belief system. Survival is not just about escaping physically, but about enduring psychologically as the night escalates into a relentless series of confrontations, chases, and confrontations that grow more extreme with every passing hour. What sets They Will Kill You apart is its willingness to transform its premise into a grand, almost operatic battle between one individual and an entire belief structure. The cult is not portrayed as faceless background villains, but as an organized, fanatical force with its own hierarchy, rituals, and rules. This gives the conflict a sense of scale that goes beyond a simple cat and mouse chase. The protagonist's fight becomes symbolic, a resistance against being reduced to an offering, a statement that even in a place built entirely for death, defiance is possible. The film leans heavily into stylized kills and elaborate set pieces, turning violence into a form of grim spectacle while never losing sight of the human desperation driving the central character forward. The cast assembled for the film reflects its ambition and tonal complexity. Zazie Beetz anchors the story, bringing intensity, vulnerability, and sharp wit to the role of a woman pushed to her absolute limits. Her presence suggests a protagonist who is not defined solely by fear, but by adaptability and raw survival instinct. Alongside her, Myha'la adds another layer of emotional and narrative depth, contributing to the tension and unpredictability of the unfolding events. Patterson Joseph's involvement hints at a commanding and possibly unsettling performance, likely tied to authority, ideology, or manipulation within the cult structure. Tom Felton's presence introduces an intriguing wildcard energy, suggesting a character who may blur the line between menace and dark humor. Heather Graham and Patricia Arquette further elevate the ensemble, bringing experience and gravitas that help ground the film's more outrageous elements in credible performances. The interplay between these characters allows the film to explore different reactions to terror, belief, and power. Some characters submit fully to the cult's ideology, while others resist in subtle or explosive ways. This creates a shifting dynamic where alliances feel unstable and motives remain unclear until the very moment of confrontation. The dialogue reportedly leans into sharp, darkly comedic exchanges, allowing moments of levity to puncture the tension without undermining the stakes. This balance is crucial to the film's identity as a horror action comedy, ensuring that humor enhances rather than dilutes the fear. Behind the camera, the creative team brings a strong stylistic vision that shapes every aspect of the film. Director Kirill Sokolov approaches the material with an eye for kinetic pacing and visual excess, crafting sequences that feel both meticulously planned and chaotically explosive. His collaboration with co-writer Alex Litvak results in a screenplay that embraces genre conventions while twisting them into something more irreverent and unpredictable. The production backing from Andy Muschietti, Barbara Muschietti, and Dan Kagan signals a commitment to scale and spectacle, ensuring that the film does not shy away from ambitious set pieces or bold creative choices. The involvement of executive producers Russell Ackerman, John Soenfelder, Karl Hampe, Litvak, and Sokolov further reinforces the collaborative effort behind bringing this intense vision to life. The visual identity of the film is shaped significantly by director of photography Isaac Bowman, whose work emphasizes contrast, movement, and atmosphere. The Virgil is presented not just as a location, but as an ever-shifting labyrinth, with lighting and camera movement designed to disorient both the characters and the audience. Shadows stretch unnaturally, colors bleed into one another, and the sense of spatial logic often feels deliberately distorted. Production designer Jeremy Reed contributes to this effect by constructing environments that feel ritualistic, decayed, and hostile, reinforcing the idea that the building itself is complicit in the violence. Every room appears to have a purpose tied to the cult's practices, adding layers of unease to even the quietest moments. Editing by Luke Doolan ensures that the film maintains its relentless momentum while still allowing space for character-driven tension. The pacing reportedly alternates between breathless action and moments of eerie stillness, creating a rhythm that keeps the audience constantly off balance. Costume designer Neil McLean's work adds another dimension, using clothing to reflect both individuality and submission within the cult. Ritual garments, practical survival wear, and symbolic accessories all contribute to visual storytelling that communicates character arcs without the need for exposition. Visual effects supervisor Mark Smith enhances the film's more extreme elements, blending practical and digital effects to create kills and supernatural moments that feel visceral rather than artificial. Music plays a crucial role in shaping the film's tone, with composer Carlos Rafael Rivera delivering a score that oscillates between pounding intensity and unsettling restraint. The music amplifies the sense of urgency during action sequences, while underscoring the horror with dissonant textures and ominous motifs. Music supervision by Andre von Forster ensures that any needle drops or source music align with the film's darkly comedic sensibility, enhancing moments of irony or shock. Casting director Richard Delia's work is evident in the cohesive ensemble, where each performance feels carefully chosen to contribute to the film's overall balance of mensace and humor. As the night progresses within the story, the plot escalates toward what is described as a brazen, big-screen battle defined by epic kills and unapologetic excess. The protagonist's journey becomes increasingly desperate and increasingly empowered as survival demands creativity, brutality, and moral compromise. The cult's rituals grow more elaborate and dangerous, turning the final act into a confrontation that feels less like an escape attempt and more like a declaration of war. The film does not shy away from pushing boundaries, embracing outrageous moments that are designed to provoke gasps, laughter, and disbelief in equal measure. The film's approach to horror is not purely about fear, but about spectacle and catharsis. By leaning into action and comedy, They Will Kill You positions itself as an experience meant to be shared in a theater, where audience reactions become part of the enjoyment. The exaggerated violence, sharp dialogue, and audacious set pieces are all crafted with the big screen in mind, reinforcing the sense that this is an event film rather than a quiet genre entry. Its humor is described as wickedly dark, often emerging from the absurdity of the situations rather than undercutting the danger. From a release perspective, the film is positioned for a global theatrical rollout. New Line Cinema and Nocturna present the film with distribution handled by Warner Bros. Pictures. In North America, it is set to hit theaters on March 27, 2026, while international audiences will see it beginning on March 25, 2026. This staggered release underscores the studio's confidence in the film's broad appeal, particularly among fans of genre-bending cinema that thrives on energy and attitude. The theatrical focus suggests a belief that the film's impact will be strongest when experienced collectively, surrounded by the reactions of other viewers. Trailer expectations surrounding They Will Kill You center on showcasing its unique blend of brutality and humor without revealing too much of its narrative surprises. The promotional material is expected to highlight the Virgil's twisted design, the cult's ominous presence, and the protagonist's relentless fight to survive. Fast cuts, explosive moments, and flashes of dark comedy are likely to define the trailer's rhythm, setting expectations for a film that refuses to play by conventional rules. Music and sound design in the trailer are anticipated to mirror the film's tonal shifts, moving from dread to adrenaline in rapid succession. Ultimately, They Will Kill You presents itself as a fearless entry into modern genre cinema, one that is comfortable being loud, messy, and extreme. Its combination of a strong ensemble cast, a confident creative team, and a premise that thrives on escalation positions it as a standout theatrical experience. By blending horror, action, and comedy into a single relentless night of survival, the film aims to deliver not just scares, but an unforgettable ride that leaves a lasting impression long after the final credits roll.